What's up, Facebook Live? Nice to see you all. Hopefully you're having an amazing day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you are tuning in from around the world and all kinds of amazing places, I'd love to know, number one, what you are grateful for. Number two, I'd love to know three things. Oh, I'm so sorry. Number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, I'd love to know three things you're grateful for. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you're tuning in, love to know where you're tuning in from and three things you are grateful for in your life, world, business, anything going on special today. Today we're going to be talking about the absolute. Michael, nice to see you. Today we're going to be talking about the three fundamental elements or foundational pieces for maximum performance. And this is both personally and professionally. We work with clients from all over the globe. And what is awesome and unique about them is the fact that every single one of them, if they do not get these three fundamental factors on point and consistent, I guarantee their performance will be lacking. We're going to go through each one in a little bit of detail today, give you some very specific, easy ways to measure them, track them, and increase your performance with them. And if you do these three things that we're going to talk about, I guarantee it will make you a high-performing human being. Now, there's two more levels, the three foundational pieces, a couple more next pieces, and a couple more next pieces. But today we're going to cover just that three pieces. Let me share this really quickly. If you know someone who would like to perform better in their life, their business, in their relationship, in their health, please tag them or share this video with them at some point throughout this conversation. Let's see. Hello from London. Hello, Anthony. What's up, buddy? From Los Angeles. Hello from Milwaukee. Meg, nice to see you. Carlos from Guatemala. What's up, man? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cheslin, nice to see you. Long time no speak. Wonderful to see you on here. Let me share this in a few places really quickly to spread the word and let people know that we are on here live. As you're tuning in, number one, love to know where you're tuning in from. Number two, I'd love to know three things you are grateful for. Billy, thank you for that like, sir. Timeline, here we go. Click, blink, let me share that. Anas, hello, sir. Welcome back from Morocco. Crichton, where's that? Hello from Peru. Joseph, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let's share it here. As you're tuning in, love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, I'd love to know three things you're grateful for. Mexico, what's up, friend? Nice to see you. I'm your idol. I hope not. Kind of a silly one. Hello from the UK. Hello from Tampa. What's up, dude? Welcome. Where's it sharing it? Rapid, right here in this group. So what we're going to be talking about one more time before we get started. Hello from Newman, Georgia. Jonathan, what's up, buddy? Welcome. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to increase your personal and professional performance. Pretty simple. If you are someone who needs to increase your personal and professional performance, please click that little thumbs button or little heart button and give me a couple of taps over there to let me know that this is an interesting topic for you. Representing from Denver, what's up? Scotland, hello. Wendy Treist, hello. Amanda, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as you're tuning in, number one, where you're tuning in from, we have people from all over the world thus far, from Peru, Mexico, the U.S., I saw Europe, I saw parts of Africa, Asia, it might be too late. Sweden, welcome. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. So as you're tuning in, love to hear where you're tuning in from. Also, I'm very excited to also hear. Thank you for all those hearts and all those thumbs up. Obviously, people wanting to increase their personal and professional performance, which we're going to be chatting about today. Remember, you did not wake up to be mediocre. My wife makes these awesome posters, which I love and very appreciative. Hello from Oregon. Tori, welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, what we're doing when we start is I'm always asking you where you're tuning in from because I'm always curious and I love to see people from all over the world. Two, I also always ask, Jonathan, thank you for sharing that. I also always love to ask what you're grateful for, because there's a book written by a Stanford research team and psychologists who figured out that when you can train someone's brain to scan the world around them and look for what is good about it or what they're grateful for, it builds up their emotional resilience as well as their happiness and fulfillment in life. So I always start these off by asking, what are 3 things you're grateful for? Not because I'm always curious. Part of that is I'm curious, but the other part is I want to help you build the muscle every day of training your brain to scan the world and look for what you're grateful for. We talked about yesterday, what's up from Athens, Greece? Welcome. We talked about yesterday the whole concept of, that was from Harvard, from Stanford research. They figured out that if you take one piece of gratitude, so I'm grateful for, I used my wife yesterday as the example. Now, if you find 5 specific key elements about that or attributes about that person or thing, it helps deepen the gratitude experience. Hello from Canada, eh? Nice to see you. And listening in. What's up, Matt? Nice to see you. Jonathan, something went wrong. Anyone else having trouble seeing it, or is it coming through loud and clear? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or a loud and clear down in the comments if you can see it and everything's smooth. It just might be his computer, but I want to make sure just in case. So the concept is we want to train that muscle every day. That way you train your brain, and every single day, I can't seem to hear anything. Let's see. How about now? Loud and clear. For anyone, if you can't hear me, you probably can't hear this, but you should probably reset the browser or refresh the screen. Hello from London. Hello, Monica. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. So that's why I always ask you those questions, is to helping you build the emotional muscle to build your happiness and fulfillment in life. Based on research, I think they did 200 studies on over 275,000 people, and they concluded that is one of the things. Some of the other things that can improve your happiness. Sounds good, loud and clear, very cool. Coming through. Thank you for that. So one of the other things they found that can improve people's overall happiness and fulfillment in life is meditation, working out, committing a random act of kindness, which is really interesting because what happens is the person who's delivering the act of kindness, they get a shot of dopamine and oxytocin as well as a little bit of serotonin in their brain, which is pleasurable and connecting neurotransmitters and hormones there. Not only that, the person receiving it gets the same kick in their brain, and anyone who observes it. So it's kind of a triple threat there as far as a win in all different ways to produce happiness and produce connection and produce, great emotional response in people around you and connection and community. It's beautiful. So those are a handful of different things that can help boost your happiness and fulfillment. Today we're talking about performance. And so just a thought of how to go about framing this properly for you, because whenever I bring up this topic, and we go train on this in all kinds of organizations, and I just saw that Ariana Huffington from the Huffington Post actually has a consulting company that goes into companies and trains on the exact same thing in this area, so it must be popular. But here's what's fascinating. Let's frame this properly. Monica, nice to see you. Marilyn, oh, thank you for that. So if you were in a war, let's say, and Chris, nice to see you. If you're just tuning in right now, I'd love to know, number 1, where you're tuning in from. Number 2, I'd love to know 3 things you're grateful for today. Write down in the comment section. And if you know someone who needs help increasing their personal and professional performance, please tag them or click the share button and share this video with them so they can check this out. I'd love to spread this message as far as wide as we can. And thank you for all those who are giving me hearts and thumbs. I always appreciate those things floating by. And so here's what's interesting. If you want to increase your performance, let's talk about what happens when you take away certain things in your life. And let's see if this relates to anybody. So generally, my one-on-one coaching clients consists of men, usually between 35 to, let's say, 45 years old. Monica, never received my book. Please direct message me. Send me a message and we'll double check to see where it was sent to, because we track every package that's sent, Monica. Sorry about that. We'll track and figure out where it is. Let's say, ideal client, really simple. 35 to 45-year-old men, specifically, they generally own their own business, either one or multiple businesses. They have anywhere between 5 to 50 plus employees. They make anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million+ per year in personal income. These are the people that I generally work with one-on-one in coaching. And when we work with them, it's very specific to increase their personal performance. Generally, they know what to do, they know how to do it, and the common complaint is they don't have enough time or hours in the day to get it done. Because there's so much going on in the world, they have to figure out how do you maximize them as a human being and their productivity and ability to perform personal and professionally. And so when we look at that, there's only certain things we pay attention to in the beginning to figure out how well they're currently doing as a human being. Chris, nice to see you. And so what do your posters say behind you, please? At the end, I'll show you. That one says, "You did not wake up to be mediocre." That one is an awesome set of quotes. I'll show you in a moment. Thanks for asking. My wife creates those. They're awesome. And so here's what's interesting. When we first work with these men specifically, and women too, who are in a similar position, but mostly men, when we work with them, here's what usually happens. We sit down and we gauge them in 3 areas to start with. And there are 3 specific areas that, let's say you were in a war situation. So wartime situation, Brian, what's up, buddy? And you're captured by the enemy. You're captured by the other side. What are the 3 things they take away from you almost immediately that start to break down your performance as a human being? And it's, if you watch any movies about this, or you've happened, hopefully, knock on wood, you haven't, but if you happen to be in a situation, real quick, in the comment section, I'd love to know, what are the 3 things they immediately take away from you that cause your performance as a human being, your cognitive performance, your physical performance, your emotional performance, immediately to drop? So in the comment section, real quick, I'd love to know your guess. What are the 3 things they take away? How to increase your performance when you don't have a job. So here's what's wild. If you want to increase your performance, Nathan says water, shelter, close, keep going. So those are things they take away. What other things did they take away? Light, sleep, interesting. What other things do they take away? Monica, thanks for that. What other things do they take away from you immediately? Freedom, absolutely. And what things do they take away that literally takes your performance down? Nathan says food, that's one of the main ones. Food is one of the big ones. Sleep is one of the other ones. Physiology, focused language. Self-confidence, absolutely. They can pound on that a little bit. Jewelry, Chris, maybe. Confidence, worth, love, absolutely. Focus, absolutely. So that's a piece of it. Water, absolutely. Control, yep. Communication, most likely. If they capture you, they're not going to let you keep talking to everybody. Can't jump on Facebook. So here's the 3 things we found. They normally take it. See, if you think this is true or you agree with this, give me a thumbs up in the little section there. They take away your ability to move. So they take you and they put you in a cell where they lock you up and they put you somewhere and they don't let you get your daily exercise in. They don't let you work out. They don't let you physically get any stronger than you are because they want to try to weaken you physically so that you're not a threat internally in this situation. So if that makes sense, number 1, they want to weaken you physically by not letting you have any movement, not letting you work your body out, to strengthen your muscles, to strengthen your physiology in any way. They want to break that down so they don't let you move. And the less you move, the less you're able to move, and therefore you're less of a threat. So that's number 1. You want to write this down. Number 2, they take away your nutrition. They take away your food. They don't feed you. They feed you like a piece of bread or soup with a pea in it. Like they don't feed you a whole lot because they want to nutritionally kind of take away your fuel. So you don't have any fuel to get up and go. You don't have a lot of energy. You're kind of broken down or beat up in that way. And the next one is not only do they take away your fuel, they take away your physical ability to move and be strong, your physiology, but then they start taking away your sleep. And they don't psychologically and emotionally, this starts breaking you down. Because if I take any human being on earth and I do not let you sleep for 2 days, you cognitively, according to research, show up in your cognitive functioning. You show up the equivalent of being drunk if you can't sleep for 2 days. That's the same thing. If you sleep less than 6 hours for multiple nights in a row, after the 3rd or 4th night, again, it's the equivalent of not sleeping at all for 2 whole days, which is the equivalent of showing up as drunk cognitively in your functional abilities. Your ability to respond, your ability to think, your ability to react to situations is as if you're cognitively drunk if you take away sleep for too many days or not enough hours per night. That's number 1. Number 2, nutrition. If I take away food, Now, I know people who've gone on cleanses and they don't eat or drink anything, no juice, just water, barely any water, for multiple days in a row. If you watch them, what's wild is, as you take away their nutrition, at first, they kind of fidgety and then they're like, ugh. After so long, again, they can't think straight. They're constantly like a little foggy in their mind. They're not feeling up to par. They don't have a whole lot of energy. It starts to break them down internally. So sleep is one. The other way they do sleep is they put you in a room, they put loud music on 24/7 so you cannot sleep and they keep you awake. So sleep, nutrition, and the final is movement. If you take someone, even a high-performing athlete, someone who's physically in amazing shape, they run marathons, they run triathlons, they do the Ironman competition, and you make them literally sit, and don't let them run, don't let them work out, don't let them lift weights, don't let them stretch, don't let them do anything. You just make them sit there, and you make them sit still without movement for a week. Then let them try to go out and perform better and watch what happens. Their performance immediately drops. So what does this have to do with your performance? Well, let me ask you right now, according to research of the best athletes on earth, the ideal amount of hours you're supposed to sleep per night is what? So in the comment section, I'd love to know, what's your guess? According to research on the top athletes, I'm talking about Usain Bolt, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, like the most winningest athletes out there, the gold medalists, the best of the best. What's the sleeping range you're supposed to get per night? So some of you have been on with me before, seeing 7 to 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours, 8 to 7 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Wonderful. So you guys know this. Now here's the big question. It's, again, like I said, when I work with these clients in one-on-one performance coaching, they know what to do. Here's my question. How many hours per night do you get every single night? Write it down right now. So y'all know you're supposed to get between 7.5 to 8 hours optimally. The high-performing athletes get between 8 to 12 hours or 8 to 10 hours a night. It's pretty wild. So I'd love to know, how many hours are you getting per night consistently? Meaning if we were to track, if we gave you a sleep tracker, and every single night for the next 7 days or the past 7 days. So Matt, 4 to 5 hours. Madeline, 5 to 6 hours. Matt, just a heads up. If you do less than 5 or less hours per night for more than 5 days in a row, it's the equivalent of not sleeping at all for 2 days, 24 hours or 48 hours total. That's the equivalent of showing up psychologically drunk in your cognitive capacity. And many people, just like when they get drunk, the more drunk they get, the more capable they believe they are. You ever see that guy at the bar who's like, I'm fine, I totally got this. And the more they drink, the more they think they're good and the worse they're doing. Same thing that happens with sleep. The less sleep they get, the worse their performance gets, but the stronger and more capable they think they are. Just a heads up on that. So no problem. Erica, 4 to 5 hours. And here's the other piece people said, and this is something most of our clients have. They've just had their first or second child, and they have a young one who's not sleeping consistently through the night. This is most of our clients. They do struggle with this, and we work with them on this because you have to get creative at helping them through this. Monica says, Jairek, is oversleeping psychologically wrong? It depends on what you're doing. So here's the other thing. If you say, well, Michael Phelps sleeps 11 hours a night, so I'm going to sleep 11 hours a night. You have to also, if you want maximum performance, you have to match it with the same amount of exertion of energy. So if, I don't work out as hard as Michael Phelps does, therefore I aim for 7 to 8 hours per night. With that range, I do work out really hard, just not as much, to need 10 hours of sleep per night. And I wake up effortlessly. I mean, a sign that you're getting enough sleep, you should literally wake up and feel wide awake without your alarm, without anything going on. People say your goals and dreams should wake you up, and really, truly, they should. You should have enough hours. Why do some authors recommend 5 to 6 hours? Because they don't have the research and they're just doing their best, I'm guessing. If you want to grab a book on this, let me see if I have it. It's called Sleep Smarter by my friend Sean Stevenson. It's not his opinion of how much sleep you should get. Matt says, totally me. Yeah, that's what happens. It's not his opinion. It's not based on him waking up and having an epiphany that he needs to sleep more. It's literally all research, science-backed studies and information showing you exactly why you need 7 to 8 hours plus per night of sleep, and exactly, he has 21 different ways you can do to maximize your sleep. This is a book we recommend to every single one of our clients when we work on them one-on-one, and we have them read it, and then we have them take as many of those 21 pieces and implement them immediately into their life to get sleeping better and get them to not only have the length of sleep, but the quality of sleep. So, Monica, how do you be consistent with sleep? In the book, Sean talks about, Monica says Sean's awesome. He is awesome. So in the book, he talks about how to get consistent sleep. So you got to have a sleep ritual, which your sleep ritual starts in the morning. If you're someone who works out at night, no. Best time to work out is first thing in the morning. You also want to get outside first thing in the morning. Even if it's cloudy, you need sun rays on your skin because it kicks off the hormonal and psychological cycle from the hormones and chemicals in your body that literally get your functional parts moving inside chemically and neurotransmitter wise that cause you to produce the melatonin later in the day that literally cause you to want to go to sleep later at night. The eating habits go with this facts. Absolutely. Eating habits absolutely help or hurt your sleep. So Miles, great question. If you're properly combining your food, this is something else we work with our clients, making sure we go through their diet, making sure they're eating. So nutrition is number 2. So number 1 was sleep. You want to make sure you maximize sleep. Number 2, thanks for the amazing info, man. You're welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in. P.S. If you think this is useful content or you think this is good stuff that someone else needs to know, please click the share button and share this with your wall or tag them in a comment below so they can come check this out. Can you please send the link, Monica, to Sean's book? It's Sleep Smarter. Let me pull it up real quick. I'll post it. It's on Amazon. Let's see. Or sleepsmarter.com, I think, is the website. Sleepsmarter.com. Might be sleepsmarterbook.com. Nope, that's not it. Sleepsmarterbook.com. There you go. Cool. So here is Sean's book. Boom. In one of the chapters, he talks about in the book is certain foods that have tryptophan and other type of chemicals in it that when you eat them, they actually help your body get tired or want to get sleepy. Like if you eat a lot of turkey on Thanksgiving or at all, you tend to get tired. And that says all successful people waking up at 5 in the morning. That's not actually true. A lot of them do, but not all of them. And Madeline says, what's the best time to wake up? It really depends on what your outcome is and what you're trying to achieve. So I have some business owners as clients who they don't work a standard cycle. My dad does not work standard hours. He doesn't work 9 to 5. He tends to go to bed at 4 in the morning, get up at, I think he gets up at like 10 in the morning or noon, and then he works that way. So he works opposite hours of most people. Monica, what rituals do you do in the morning to maximize performance? We've done that before. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But today we're going to stick with this right here. Great question, though. Or we'll fit it in at the end if I can do that. So one of them is you can see I have my vision boards up there and my treadmill desk right there. And so one thing every morning is getting up and walking and doing my morning routine right there to amplify my mind, body, and emotions to get myself to the best version of who I can be starting first thing in the morning. So there are rituals that go with this. Great question. So number 1, sleep. You need to maximize your sleep. And for those of you, I saw you in the comments who are getting 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, somewhere in that range. You need to up it to 7 to 8. Now I realize you're going to tell me, I have a child who doesn't sleep through the night. I'm too busy. There's too many things going on in my world. Well, here's what's interesting. Do you think the highest performing version of yourself could get that stuff done quicker, more efficiently, and more effectively than the lesser version of yourself? This goes back to that whole concept. If you're going to chop down a tree, what do? You have 5 hours, what do you do? And the example he says, I'd spend 4.5 hours sharpening my axe and 30 minutes chopping it down. Otherwise, with a dull axe, it would take me the full 6 hours or 5 hours chopping at it to barely make a dent. And so it's the concept. You want to tighten up you and get yourself to maximum performance, then take on the day. I don't have kids, but 7 hours seems too much for me. Everyone's a little different, Miles. According to psychological research, this is what it's saying. It needs about 7.5 to 8 hours a night. Also, it's also based on the fact that you would need to be, why does your father keep those hours? No clue. I have an odd feeling if you were to rewind in his story, when he was younger, he had to go take a second job when he was finishing high school because he got kicked out of the house. So he would go to school all day, and then at night he would go work and be the janitor cleaning the place, and then in the day he'd go back to school. So I have an odd feeling at a very young age it trained his nervous system to work hard during those hours. No clue though. Shot of whiskey helps get a good night's sleep. No clue why he keeps those hours. He just performs best. There's actually a book about that. I don't think I have it right here. But there's a book about sleeping styles, and it talks about whether you're a bear, a lion, I forget what the other ones were. My wife is a lion, meaning when she wakes up, she's like wide awake from the moment her eyes open. I'm a bear, so when I wake up, I need a ritual to go through to amplify myself up to a point that I'm then my best self. And so there's a book, I don't know what it's called. I think if you like animal sleep styles, I don't know what to Google on this one. We ordered it, it's somewhere up here, but I don't see it. I'll figure out what it is and I'll throw a link. But it's interesting. It's a book that tells you there are different sleep styles that this doctor went and figured out. And they figured out, Mike, 30-minute naps. Here's what's interesting. It depends on your outcome. We're looking for people who are entrepreneurs who want to maximize their performance. It's a very specific piece that we push them through. James Lambert, I sleep a lot because my back hurts approximately 9 hours. Interesting. Go see the Egoscue, EGOSQUE or CUE, Egoscue. They can help heal your back. They're amazing. I send lots of clients to them. Within 2 or 3 sessions, your back pain will be gone. It's remarkable. Let's see. I was sleeping 9 to 10 hours. Now that I'm eating healthier, I'm going and sleeping between 7 to 8. Feel better. Absolutely. Anna, great point here. Thank you, Carlos, for putting that link in there. I used to be a lion. I'm getting older, turning into a bear. So here's what's interesting. The concept of nutrition is the next piece. So sleep, you got to get right. Nutrition, and so here's what's wild. Miles, speaking about nutrition, when people eat right, so this becomes a massive discussion with wild, amount of different opinions on what's the right way to eat. And there's so many. Inga, you might want to check out Pizizz, P-Z-I-Z-Z. Why should you not eat fruits before going to bed? Too much sugar, Madeline, is fruits. You want to eat those in the afternoon by themselves, not before bed. So looking at this concept real quick of nutrition, there's so many different techniques or styles or ways. I have a friend who's written 22 books in 11 years on nutrition. Like, how many different techniques could there be? But people keep buying this stuff and they keep looking for all the newest fads and insights. The one thing I would tell you with nutrition, and this is a very personal thing, every one of my clients has a slightly different routine, and it really depends on what your outcome is. If your outcome is to build muscle, there's a whole different dietary requirement than if your outcome is to lose fat. If your outcome is to lose fat instead of use fat, there's a whole different way you go about doing this. Because one way will help you get the fat off of your body, one way will help you use the fat as fuel to keep your body going, and you'll actually keep fat on your body slightly because your body will keep it to use it as fuel and stoke the fire every day. One way will help you run ultra marathons, one way will make you look super skinny, but you'll have zero energy. So there's so many different dietary techniques or plans to use that can literally help you get so many different. James says, is this the right one? Yes, that is the right one. That can give you so many different results physically. I had a young man come to me and say, well, I want to look like a bodybuilder and be able to be like a Thai kickboxer, and I want to also live to 100, and yeah, so what diet do I use? And I was like, dude, listen, if we sit down and we go talk to Thai kickboxers, world champions, and we ask them about their dietary plan of what they eat and how they train every day, and then we go talk to Mr. Olympia. Now, the similarity that exists between them is it's going to be a pretty consistent, refined, very specific meal plan. But I guarantee the amount of food, how much food, what types of food is different between these two competitive athletes. Now, the only one I know of that does radically different than everyone else is Michael Phelps. And I don't think longevity is in his goal plan, at least the way he's been eating. He's been known to eat a bunch of McDonald's or something like that while training. But what's crazy is he works out so much. He does 2 to 4 times the workouts of every other person who's in his sport competing with him. And what's wild is his body's like a furnace, so it just burns through anything he puts in it. That's no excuse to eat a bunch of crap, because I think ultimately in the long run it's going to catch up to him and smack him in the face when he's older. So you want to eat healthy. But the one thing you want to look at is if you go through all different types of athletes, even down to like someone who's a master in Tai Chi or a master yogi, these are athletes still physically, you want to look at them and say, what is the consistent thread that exists in all of them? One thing many of them eat is vegetables. One thing many of them eat is some clean source of protein. One thing many of them eat is some source of carbohydrate to an extent. And the balancing of proportions of how much of each and when to eat, and this is the other piece, it's not only what they're eating, it's when they're eating it. I had a moment when I was working on my health and fitness, and I'll show you this real quick. Let me see if I can find it, because I play with these different techniques depending on what my goals are. When I was running marathons, there's a very specific dietary regimen you eat to fuel your body with to give yourself ultimate distance performance, to have lots of energy the whole time. This last couple of years, I wanted to shape my body physically, so there's a very specific dietary plan you eat, 8 meals a day, exactly measured, exactly proportioned, and doing that allowed my body to shape itself. And let me see if I can show you real quick what it looks like. This is the first 3 months of doing that. Here you go. So this is the first 3 months of having a very bodybuilder type diet. This was the beginning. This was 3 months later. So this is a very specific diet with a very specific workout routine. And within 3 months, that's what the physical results look like. So I play with this stuff and I have fun figuring out, just like Tim Ferriss does in his world. It's interesting to play with these different results and see what shows up in your body and how your body can transform from one way to other. But I'll give you a clue. The dietary plan I was eating nutrition-wise to get all the energy to run the marathons made me look more like the first picture you saw there. The dietary plan to get me to the physical shape I wanted to be in did not help with energy. I was tired a lot comparably, meaning I had less energy, but I looked really good. Versus over there, I didn't look that as good, but I had way more energy. And so there are different dietary plans, and I go out and do this stuff to play with it and see what it feels like, see what it looks like, and I find my balance. My balance is kind of in between those two worlds, where I might not look shredded, but I have lots of energy, and I still feel strong. Did you get cravings? Tons of them. There were days because there were limited meals, and they had to be on time. And I went and talked with a professional bodybuilder, and I showed him that picture, and I didn't say a word. I said, what do you think? 3 months. How'd I do? And he looked at it, and he went, And he zoomed in, and he looked at all the different pieces of my body and goes, wow, you had one hell of dedication here, because there's no way you could have gotten this result without eating exactly on time. And I remember hearing that and I said, what do you mean on time? And he says, there's literally, you have to eat the exact amount of food at the exact time of the day to get your body to do that result. For those of you who just tuned in, we're talking about how I went from here to here physically, and he was telling me you have to fuel your body at the exact time of the day to get your body to release the fat, to shape the muscle, to do that kind of stuff. It's like growing a plant. You have to give it the right amount of water at the exact time of day to get it to flourish. Same thing with this physical result. So I'm not going to go into what's the perfect dietary plan, because I'll tell you, every single client we work with is different depending on exactly what they're trying to accomplish physically. How much energy they want, how do you fight food cravings, many different ways. A lot of it's just willpower. I want to lose fat around my belly and my face. What should I eat? Again, different dietary plans. So there's more than that. Lots of people say, I just want to lose weight. There's lots of ways to lose weight. You can lose weight through running. You can lose weight through dietary restrictions. You can lose it through eating certain types of foods that burn off weight. So a lot of it burns off muscle, though. So you don't that's not necessarily the healthiest way to do it. One of my favorite videos is the transformation. The guy who does Diamond Dallas Page yoga and transfers from someone who can barely walk to someone who's running and loses all this weight just by doing yoga every day. So it's not technically crazy. How much do you eat and what time? So I had a trainer I hired who literally created a 8 meal a day plan based on my kind of restriction. So I don't eat chicken, I don't eat beef, I only eat fish, and I only eat certain types of fish because it's the healthiest kind, and I only eat vegetables. And so what's literally is my trainer went through and he literally mapped out, you're going to eat this exact amount of ounces of fish at this time in the morning with this amount, 1 cup dried of broccoli steamed. From there, you're going to eat this. From there, you're going to eat this. And they went through piece by piece by piece by piece of exactly what to eat and when to eat it to get that kind of routine, and exactly when to work out and how hard to work out to get that kind of muscle and that kind of shape. So it's fascinating. Let's see. I've lost 13 pounds in 8 weeks. I went further. Stone, GI, where I want to be. Any ideas on diet? Lots of different opinions. So I'm not going to go into diets here just because there's so many different options. I tend to stay more towards veggies and fish. That's just my style. It's what I like. And so everything I shape around that concept of staying more towards a vegetarian with a little bit of fish involved, and how do I, balance stuff out to get those kind of results when I want them. Did you have meals prepped one day in advance? I got very lucky, knock on wood, and this is something I'm incredibly grateful for. Amanda, my wife, made all my meals for me. So throughout the day, each day, she would spend time cooking or creating 8 different meals throughout the day for me and getting them to me exactly on time throughout the day. And it was a huge, huge help, and I'm so, so grateful for that. And the other way to do it, if you don't have someone who can help you like that, then the other way to do it is on Sundays or whatever day of the week, you meal prep the whole week. You put them all in the fridge, and then you pull them out at the exact time. That's why you see all those bodybuilders and fitness guys and gals who literally meal prep once a week and prepare all their meals to eat in advance, because you have to eat on time. You can't spend 20 minutes cooking it. God bless her. I agree. She's wonderful, and I'm really, really grateful I had that much support in the process as well. So that's nutrition. So sleep. You need at least 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep ideally. Most average people need that, if not more. Nutrition. You need to optimize your nutrition plan, and there's so many different ways to do this, but you want to come and figure out what your outcome is. You want to find someone who's already achieving your outcome physically or emotionally or energetically, and you want to go interview them, figure out what they're eating. You also want to go take, I think it's called a food allergies test, and you want to figure out what is best for your body. Because what I've learned is some people eat certain things, it's not good for my body, it doesn't work. Dairy, milk, that stuff does not work in my DNA. When I eat or drink too much of it, after so a while, I get sick and I start coughing up green phlegm, like not good in my body. It doesn't do well with it. So I need other alternatives on how to swap out different things to make my body perform at its best in that routine with my own specific kind of updates to the plan. And so traditionally, the guy I went to, he does chicken and certain types of stuff like that. Instead, I went over and I figured out how to do it with fish and got the same physical result a little bit differently, but with my specific adjustments in there. So you have to know yourself. You have to do some research on there. Couple good places that I would recommend to learn more about health and nutrition. My dad has a great program called Living Health. That's my foundation. I spent 15 years of my life eating to that regimen every single day to keep my body as clean, alkaline, as healthy as humanly possible. If you want to look up my personal trainer here in Tampa, if you want to talk to him about building muscle, you can look up, bodybydouglas.com. So bodybydouglas.com. I'll tag here, I'll type it in the little comment section if you want to look him up, if people are trying to build some muscle. So if you want to do that like bodybuilding type transformation, he's a great guy. And so he's the guy I worked with here in Tampa. He does meal plans for our clients and he emails it over to them so them to follow. They're very strict and you have to do it strategically. If you want to check out that Living Health program, if someone can grab, here, I'll do it. Living Health So this is a foundational piece that I've used for years as far as understanding health. Madeline says, Life Mastery with my dad is amazing. It is amazing. I absolutely love that event. My wife has not been yet, so we have it on our list of events to attend this year. Mike, Jairek always has great references. Only the best. Thank you, sir. I always do my best to share the good stuff with y'all. So there's some references. So we have sleep, we have nutrition, this concept, and then we need movement. And so this is wild. Movement, and then I got to go because we have yoga coming up. But for movement, P.S., if you find this useful, if this information is tactically useful and applicable to you in your life, or you know other people who might find this useful, please click the share button or tag them in the comments so they can come and check this out. I really appreciate when y'all do that. And I appreciate all the chatter in the comment section here with me about this. So with this, the third part we're going to talk about, and this is just the foundation, because if I take away your sleep, if I take away your nutrition, I don't feed you, I don't let you sleep, and I don't let you move, it's called torture in war. And so what's wild is these are the key elements to performance. And these are things so often we tell ourselves, I don't have time, I'm too busy, I'm too stressed out, I missed my meal because I was in an important meeting and I just didn't have time to eat it. I had to run, so I ate my meal on the fly and I didn't have a chance to get what I really needed, so I ate some crap food. Not only that, Melanie, thank you for sharing that. And so we have all these excuses and all these crazy things that people say and excuses we have. Thank you so much. My wife just brought me an amazing meal. Check this out. So we got some salmon, some avocado, some lettuce. It's a giant salad here. Thank you for that much. And so we have yoga in a few minutes. So to wrap this up, the final third piece is movement. And so we have to figure out how much movement and what is the right type of movement. Anelia, thank you for sharing that. How much movement and what's the right type of movement for you to be doing every day. And so a minimum standard, and this is something we get for all of our clients, and we link them all up and we have a little fun competing with each other, but we get these little Fitbit bracelets. It's a little bracelet, it tracks your sleep, your movement, and your heart rate, and every day it tracks your steps. And I'll tell you a little story. When I first started tracking, I was like, oh, I must be crushing it, because I get up in the morning, I work out, I go for a long walk on the beach and then a little bit of a run. I come back, I go and I lift weights at the gym, then I work all day, and then from there I leave and I do yoga in the afternoon, and then I come home. I'm like, man, I must be crushing it on the steps concept. And I heard, I think it was the Mayo Clinic or one of those places said, if you want to stay healthy, lose fat, and be in a strong state, the average human being should be doing at least 10,000 steps a day. The average person. And I remember thinking, man, I must be getting like 40,000, 20,000 steps a day, easy, based on how much I'm working out and how much I'm moving. I started tracking it, and what's fascinating, like most of our clients find out, after tracking it for the first couple weeks, I realized I was getting, on average, 4,000 steps a day. That's it. That was with a morning walk on the beach, yoga, lifting weights, and doing all those pieces. So doing all that stuff, 4,000 steps a day, that's all I was getting. That's horrible. And for those of you who know who my dad is, I grew up in a household that average is the worst thing you could ever call somebody. And so when I looked at it, I'm like, I'm not even getting what the average person should be getting to lose fat, stay healthy, and be a solid person. Not even the average. So it drove my nervous system crazy. And then I started to figure out, how the heck do I get 10,000 steps a day? I mean, I already have my schedule maxed out. I'm already doing my run in the morning. I'm already doing yoga. Like, where in the world am I going to get this extra 6,000 steps? If I do all that, I only get 4,000 steps. And what's wild is I challenged myself, just like I challenge all of our personal clients to do this. And I figured out, hey, instead of sitting at my desk during lunch, if I stood up and just took a walk first and then ate lunch, at night, at the end of the night, after dinner, when my stomach's full, if we just took a nice walk, family walk around the block together, oh, that'd be interesting. I got a treadmill desk so I can walk more on days when I'm busy or it's raining or cold outside. And I started to come up with all these little tricky strategies to get my extra steps in. What I found out is 10,000 steps is only around 5 miles a day. According to research, when we were hunters and gatherers, we used to move on average about 13 miles a day is what our bodies were made for. So I was struggling getting 5 miles a day, much less 13 miles a day by most people. It's crazy. And so I would challenge you for this third piece, figure out at a bare minimum how to get your 10,000 steps a day. That's 5 miles a day no matter what. Now, if you're doing 5 miles a day, you're optimizing your nutrition, or 10,000 steps a day, you're optimizing nutrition, and you're getting 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, you become something that I call a high-performing human being. Because you're fueled, you're rested and prepared, your body's repaired itself all night, you're prepared for the day, and you're moving, you're alive, you feel good. And so what's wild is the combination of those three makes someone feel strong, healthy, focused, cognitively, emotionally alive. You feel strong, you look good, you feel good. It's pretty simple. But most of our clientele, when we talk to them about that, go, I know. Yeah, I get it. But when we track them, they're nowhere freaking close. That's why we work with them as a coach, because it's not that they don't know what to do. We just call them or text them and we're like, hey, I just looked at your tracker. It's 8 p.m. your time. You've only moved 3,000 steps. Go now, move. And we get them moving. Or, hey, I've had you track your sleep the last week. You're getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's 8 hours of light sleep, not deep sleep. What can we do in the afternoon, in the evening, in the morning to better prepare you to have deep, high-quality sleep all throughout the night? And we practice stuff. One of our friends on here, he was practicing really simple breathing techniques before bed, and all of a sudden he had deep, high quality sleep throughout the night just by changing his breathing pattern for 5 minutes before bed. He was doing 5 minutes of box breathing, which a friend of ours, Mark Devine, who's that Navy SEAL, he recommended. He did 5 minutes of box breathing before bed, just 4 seconds in through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold it out for 4 seconds, repeat. He did that for 5 minutes before bed, and he took his deep sleep from maybe 30 minutes a night all the way to like 2 hours or 3 hours a night, almost instantaneously just by doing that. Lots of ways to improve it. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was useful. Tomorrow we'll talk about some of the morning routines and things you can do to amplify your morning if you're a bear like me and you need a solid routine. A bowl of oatmeal packed with melatonin will help to go to sleep, yes. So one challenge that's a little bit interesting, depending on what you eat before and what time you eat, you shouldn't be eating more than 3 hours or less. You should be eating more than 3 hours before bed and never improperly combining your food. If you improperly combine your food, it takes 12 hours for your body to break down the food, versus if you properly combine your food, it takes 3 hours to break down your food. If you want to Google that, just Google proper food combining. It'll tell you how, what, and where to mix stuff together. Because that's another reason why people sleep horribly, is they miscombine their foods and then their body's working all night trying to digest food instead of trying to sleep. So hopefully this was useful. I gotta get going. I gotta eat my food, get ready for yoga. Please click the share button if you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.